I think it's time. So we will start now. I think we are going live now. Okay, great. So welcome to the session. Thank you so much for joining the session on Tuesday. So it's a weekday and we do understand you must be having other commitments also during the weekdays. And even then you are taking out time for learning something new. So we are really excited that you have joining this session and thank you so much for joining this. So this session is on getting started with Snowflake and this will be recorded and it will be available on our YouTube channel. So all the meetups that we do will be available on the YouTube channel that we are having, DataCouch. Yeah, so you can search on YouTube. I'll show you the channel. So this meetup is part of the meetup group, which is around data. So the meetup group name is All Things Data. And we do regular meetups on various topics. So in future, you will see there is a meetup coming up. I think this is scheduled next week, which is related to Spark. So like that, we will keep doing such kind of meetup so that it adds value to your existing knowledge. So this meetup, I'm hosting this meetup. So this is 𝐜𝐿𝐴𝐺𝐻 Chawla, and here we have other team members also who are co-hosts. So if you need any assistance, any support, you can reach out to them. They will be there to help you. So about me, so I'm having more than 16, now 17 years of experience in more than like lot of technologies, like more than 50 courses I teach in different areas, including cloud and data and machine learning and many other areas. So I have already done the certification for Snowflake. So in case you need any assistance in getting Snowflake certified, I will be more than happy to do that. We may host another meetup for specifically on Snowflake certification in future. So our company DataCouch is into multiple areas, and we keep on doing such knowledge sharing sessions in various companies, including Microsoft, Bangalore, and Starbucks Coffee, Seattle, and many other companies, Adobe, many other companies. So we have done such kind of workshops, like virtual as well as in-person workshops in multiple places. So these are high-level areas where we work, the domains in which we work. And we have a meetup group of 3,200 plus members, and it is growing. So this is about me, and I would encourage you to please connect with me on LinkedIn for long-term learning partnerships. So we have here the QR code to connect on LinkedIn. So this is what we are planning to do today. So we will be looking into how to work with Snowflake and what exactly is Snowflake. First, we will understand then, and then we will understand the architecture of Snowflake. And then we will see how to create a trial account, and then how do we work with worksheets and what are the advantages of Snowflake. And then there will be demo. So this is high level agenda. And we will see based on like how many questions I get, and based on based on your questions, we can change this. Like it's flexible. It's not necessary that we will follow this particular way only. So we can have some demo on caching, or we can have demo on specific functionalities of Snowflake. We will see. So we'll get started now. So let's start. So this is about me. So I'm sharing my LinkedIn profile in case you are not connected with me on LinkedIn. So I'm sending it over the chat, and this will be available to you. Yeah, so you can have a look. Now, this is the place where you will get started with Snowflake. And very first thing is, what is Snowflake? We will cover that. But here you can get 30-day free trial account, and you will get $400 credit. You can register yourself here in the Snowflake, and then you will have access to the Snowflake platform, right? So you will be able to fire queries, you can perform data analysis, and a lot of things can be done within Snowflake. We will see that. So the Snowflake platform is having multiple versions, multiple editions, I should say. So one is standard edition. So we have various editions of Snowflake. So these editions, I'm just quickly typing very quickly, maybe a lot of spelling mistakes, but it will fix it. AI is working well. So there are many editions. So there is standard edition, there is enterprise edition, there is business critical edition, and then there is virtual private Snowflake. So standard edition has like all the capabilities that you are looking for from the data warehouse. So it will talk about that. And then enterprise edition has additional capabilities like the time travel for permanent tables up to 90 days. And there are many other capabilities in the enterprise edition. So there is a comparison also, like what is available in which edition. So you can have a look. So, right now, we are using a trial version, and in that trial version, we are using enterprise. So you can create a trial for the enterprise edition. Yeah. So if you are not speaking, you can mute yourself. Yeah. Thank you so much. So we will be using this enterprise edition. Yeah, Kapil, if you're not speaking, you can mute yourself. So, and then we have business critical edition, we have BPS. So there are multiple editions available for Snowflake. So first of all, before we start, I want to show you the YouTube channel in which I have already created many videos on Snowflake. So if you go to the playlist, you will find there is a playlist for Snowflake. So if you go to evolution of data warehouse, if you go to this, like there are multiple videos, there are more like around 8 videos are there for Snowflake. This is actually talking about, the very first video is actually talking about the evolution of data warehousing. So in this video, I have done a lot of whiteboarding in which I have tried to explain like how data warehouses evolved over last few years. So initially it started with first generation where we were having Oracle, MySQL, Postgres. So these data warehouses were they started like that. And after that, Teradata, Vertica, Netezza, Oracle, they started to dominate the market. And after that, third generation, Hive, Presto. And then these are from Facebook. And then fourth generation is Redshift kind of data warehouses. And then we have fifth generation, which is BigQuery and Snowflake. So there are different versions, or you can say generations of data warehouses. So these data warehouses, yes, Sachin, if you're not speaking, you can mute yourself. Yeah, there is a little bit background noise. Yeah, thank you so much. So what I am trying to communicate here is like we have many videos for Snowflake on our YouTube channel. So please do watch those videos after this session is over. But this session will go beyond those videos and we will try to cover some hands-on on the Snowflake platform. So in the next 50 minutes, whatever time we are having. So this is one thing that I don't want to waste time right now to show you the same thing that I've already captured. So just have a look. Regarding the evolution of data warehouses. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions so that I can help you in understanding if any of these things are not clear. But this is the starting point, very first video. Second video, before I go to second video, I want to show you like how Snowflake is different. So, you know, like you can buy a car. So when you buy a car, it is like on-prem data warehouse where you are actually buying a car. So Teradata is one example where you are buying a car. Right. So this is one example. And another example is like pay per trip. So that is serverless on cloud. So no upfront cost involved. But there is a concept of hiring a car also in Snowflake. So you can see like we have virtual warehouses and we can actually hire a car when you are wanted to fire the query. So that concept also exists. But overall, the idea here is we don't want the administrators to spend sleepless nights in fixing the issues related to the data warehouse maintenance and monitoring, and so many other things are involved, right? So if you are coming from data warehousing background and if you have worked with Teradata or other data warehouses, traditional data warehouses, first to fourth generation warehouses, you must have seen that there are a lot of challenges. It's not easy to work with those data warehouses. So please do watch this video. And after that, you will see what are the challenges. So in this particular video, I have explained what are the challenges working with traditional data warehouses in detail. So once you are done with that, so you can see like different types of data warehouses. They were having different types of challenges. Like traditional data warehouses, they were not having storage which was infinite. There was limited storage, and we used to archive those data. Like in those data warehouses, we were archiving data in magnetic tapes, and it was very difficult to retrieve the data. And so people were playing defensively. They were not able to work with all data. They were working with limited data. So these were limitations. They were not elastic. They were having a lot of high costs, like they were expensive. And also they were only for structured data, but Snowflake can go beyond structured data. You can work with semi-structured data very well. So semi-structured data is first class citizen. And then I also elaborated, like there are a lot of database administrator activities like backup and restore, upgrading, patching, capacity planning, multi-tenancy. Achieving multi-tenancy is a pain. How do we do metering? How do we do throttling? How do we do billing? So many challenges are there around multi-tenancy if you talk about traditional data warehouses. So that's why we have Snowflake, which is overcoming the issues related to the data warehouses that we were having traditionally. So here the challenges are mentioned related to Hive, big data warehouse. What are the challenges? If you're coming from Hive background, you must have seen that there are a lot of issues in Hive, like it is batch and it is having many issues, like metadata is not synchronized with data. In Hive, meta store is different and data is different. So we have issues like we have to do MSCK repair table, and then we have to fix the issues. A lot of problems with Hive and other traditional data warehouses. So that's why we are moving towards Snowflake. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So before we go to the Snowflake, you should know what is the difference between data warehouses and what is the difference between data lake and what is the difference between data warehouses. So here we have actually captured the differences also. It is storing the transform data usually. So now I have a star here because nowadays data warehouses are ELT based rather than ETL based. So I have explained that in this video only. And traditional data warehouses, they were having finite storage, and modern data, they have infinite storage and structured and semi-structured data. So data lakes, they can keep any type of data. So there is a distinction between data lakes and data warehouses. So that's what we have explained in this particular video. After that, we have discussed why Snowflake. So you will see in this video captured so many points why Snowflake is shining, because it is hiring a cab, or it's like renting a cab when it comes to virtual warehouses. Why data warehouse cannot be applied for unstructured data? Okay, so the concept of data warehouses are basically they are OLAPs. That means they have a relational structure under the hood, even though they are storing data in columnar manner, but they have a relational structure. So that's the reason, like unstructured data means no structure. So that's why if you don't have any structure, then how can you store in a relational structure? So that's the idea. Okay, thank you for asking this question. Now, if you see why Snowflake, here I have captured so many reasons. Like one simple thing, like one simple takeaway from this webinar is, it is like hiring a cab or renting a car kind of scenario. When it comes to virtual warehouses, it is like renting a car. And when it comes to storage, then it is like paying as you use, paying as you go, pay as you go, pay like on demand. But you can have that option of purchasing the like capacity. You can purchase it. If you go to the pricing page, you will see various options which are available in Snowflake. But on demand scale is very interesting, because in Hadoop or other traditional technologies, you must have seen that on demand scale is not possible, and it is very painful to scale up your cluster, and our capacity planning is usually wrong, right? So this is another problem, right? And then upgrades are without any downtime. So when you hire a Uber cab, right, so you don't care when the driver took it for the maintenance. You just pay for the trip, and you don't bother about like if there is any maintenance required or anything required. So the car owner is taking care of that. You are not taking care of that, right? So semi-structured data, native connectors are available, multi-tenancy, cost-effective, security perspective, it is very robust. It is having PCI compliance and HIPAA support, and a lot of things are there. Single copy of data is maintained. Metadata management is done by Snowflake itself. So there's so many reasons. So coming to Redshift versus Snowflake, you can have a look at this video, but I am moving on to Snowflake architecture. So overall, this Snowflake architecture is production multi-layer architecture. Another time. So let me show you how it looks like. Here we have. So how the Snowflake architecture is. Because if you understand Snowflake architecture, then it will be easier for you to work with Snowflake when you're firing queries, and then you will get to know from which layer the results are coming, right? So depending on that, the cost of query will change, right? So overall, the Snowflake architecture, there are many moving parts. So first of all, we will see this particular thing, like in the Snowflake architecture, what exactly is involved. So it is a 3-layered architecture in Snowflake. And then we have first layer, which is storage layer. And here we store the data. It can be on AWS. Snowflake can run on AWS. It can run on Azure. It can run on GCP. So it can run on any cloud provider. So Snowflake is having storage of the cloud provider. So the data centers that Snowflake will be using will be of AWS or GCP or Azure, right? So depending on cloud provider that you are choosing, right? So that's another benefit, like you are agnostic of cloud provider. So this is storage. And here we have compressed data, time travel, fail-safe. All these things exist at the storage layer. And then here you can see like it can be any option, right? And then we have a compute. So compute is for like extracting data, for loading data, or for transforming data, or for firing the queries which involve like data processing. Like it is not like something which is related to the metadata. So that's why this is compute. And we have cloud services layer, which is like always on, always listening for your queries, and it is brain of Snowflake. This is brain of Snowflake, and it takes care of security, it takes care of infrastructure, it takes care of metadata, it takes care of caching, it takes care of query profiling. It will be planning your queries. When you fire the queries, it will go through the cloud services layer, and it has Foundation DB, which is another NoSQL database key value store, which keeps track of all your metadata here, like related to the FDN files, the data which is stored in Snowflake. So overall, this is high level picture. So please let me know if you have any questions on this architecture, like how Snowflake is organized. Why do we have decoupled architecture? Can someone share, like, why do we have decoupled architecture here in Snowflake? What is the benefit of having such decoupled architecture? What is the problem with Hadoop when there is data locality principle? Coupling is there in Hadoop. You remember, like if you are coming, I know Akshay, you are coming from Hadoop background, and Harshit, you are also coming from Hadoop background. So do you know what is a data locality principle and where it fails? Hadoop fails. What is the problem with Hadoop? Why we are talking about decoupled architecture? So any ideas, any thoughts? Any problems that you see in Hadoop? If you are not sure, no problem. You can go ahead. I will assist you. I will support you. Like if you start giving some answer, I'll just ensure that you have much more bigger insights after this discussion. So please feel free to unmute yourself and share like what were the problems. Yeah, storage. So storage is HDFS in Hadoop and primarily, but we have other NoSQL database like HBase and many other Kudu and many other things are there. But in general, like if you see, we are having data locality principle in Hadoop. So that means you have to keep your HDFS cluster running. That means data nodes must be up and running. Then only you can retrieve the data from those nodes, even though there are no applications running. So that means like it is tightly coupled. So I created one video also. I think it was GCP webinar in which I was explaining how the trend shifted from storage area network to from network attached storage to Hadoop to the decoupled ephemeral clusters. So right now, if you are having decoupled architecture, then you are not wasting your compute cycles when you just need to store your data, right? And there are no applications running behind the scene. So we don't want that situation. So that's the benefit. Like if you keep the data decoupled, so you can scale very well. So storage can be efficiently utilized. So you don't pay for the compute, and compute can be ephemeral. That means you can spin up the cluster and you can suspend the cluster. Like when you are at the red light, you turn off the car, right? So why we turn off the car? Because we want to save the petrol, right? So that's the idea. So same thing in Snowflake, when you are not using compute, you can turn off the compute clusters, right? You can suspend the compute clusters when we don't need it. So that's the benefit of using this decoupled architecture, because storage is still there. You don't lose it. Yeah. So it will be available. Yeah. Even though you turn off the compute. And apart from that, cloud services layer is like brain. And here we have metadata. So you can do caching of your queries here, result cache, and there are other levels of cache also. So if time permits, I will explain more about caching. But overall, this is the idea. Yeah. Now, I'm going back to the videos. If you are not very clear, please ask about this architecture, why this is three-layered architecture. Okay, so I believe everyone is fine. So Aman, like if there are any questions on the chat, please let me know. I can just answer those questions from the YouTube chat if there are any. Okay, so in the compute layer, we have such kind of architecture in compute layer. Let me show you the compute layer, how it looks like. So compute layer is like this. So in compute layer, you can have different clusters, and you can even have multi-cluster compute layer. So in compute layer, let's say this particular virtual warehouse is responsible for business intelligence team. And this particular virtual warehouse is responsible for research team. Like data scientists, they are performing research. And this warehouse is responsible for the business intelligence. So you have isolation of workloads. So in Hadoop, achieving such isolation is not easy task. Like if you remember, like when we were purchasing Cloudera licenses earlier, like at that time, it was really difficult to set up this big data as a service for all the departments. Like your company purchased the licenses and then you wanted to set up the multi-tenancy for different departments in 2015, 2016, 17. It was very difficult. Now Cloudera has introduced a concept of CDP, Cloudera Data Platform, but they are too late in the game, if you ask me from my perspective. But Snowflake built natively for the cloud, and it has incorporated all the best practices. How do we achieve multi-tenancy, and for different departments, for different set of workloads, very easily we can scale up. So if let's say more business intelligence team is growing and they are firing more queries, you can scale out and you can add more servers or more clusters like here in the virtual warehouse. And similarly, like for research team. So you have multi-tenancy, which is much more easier in Snowflake than Cloudera. That's why you will see a lot of companies are leaving Cloudera and they are moving towards Snowflake. You will see like this is growing very fast. Snowflake is spreading like a fire these days in the industry, right? So these skills are very much required. So you can watch this video, and then there is a demo and limitations of Snowflake. So what I'll do, I'll go to the demo part. So this is the trial edition that I was mentioning, that we can set up our trial, 30-day trial, and $400 credit you will get. And we have written a blog also in which you will see something different. That means like you will see step-by-step instructions for working with Snowflake. So here, if you go, you will find like we are using enterprise. How do we create the trial account? How do we get started? So you can choose enterprise, so which is having standard features plus 90-day time travel. And you will find the editions are here. What is there in enterprise edition? What is there in standard? And if you go to the blog, you will see we get the user interface. So in my case, I have already set up the account. So I will log in now to my account, and then I will give you a walkthrough of this. So before we go to demo, if you have any questions, do let me know. Okay. So it looks like there are no questions. So what I will do, I will start the demo. And I am here. This is Snowflake user interface. And I'm logging in with my account, user ID and password. This is a trial account. And once I am in, then you will see we have an interface, which basically having options to create database, options to create shares, and a lot of other things. So what I will do, I'll show you with the worksheet. So this is my worksheet. So here you can give the name of the worksheet, and here you can write queries. So let's say this is demo worksheet, right? So here we can write queries, and it is automatically saving behind the scenes. Right? So first of all, I will give you the walkthrough of this interface, how it looks like. So if you see, this is databases. So this particular tab, databases, and databases are basically for logically organizing your schema. So if you see the Snowflake structure, so overall, we have one Snowflake account. I'm ignoring the one level up, which is organization. I'm ignoring that. And here we have account. And within Snowflake account, we have databases. And within, like, definitely there are other users and many other things are there, but I am actually referring to this particular thing that I will be showing right now. So schemas, and then within that we have tables, right? High level. And then we have views also and many other things, but on a very high level. So one account can have many databases, and one database can have many schemas, and one schema can have many tables. So this is like account. What is account? You can set up Snowflake account. We got trial account. If you have seen this thing, trial account. And we have taken the enterprise edition of trial account. And if you go to this place, and you will see, you can get to know the details of this, that I created this account in AWS US West region, and this is enterprise account. And this is the organization, which is dummy organization right now. So we have this account, and account URL is visible here. So on the top, if you see, this is the account URL, and this URL right now is not having anything like AWS or GCP or Azure, because by default, if you create account in US West region, then it is considered AWS only. Like if you are creating AWS account in US West region, then it does not change the URL. But if you are creating a Snowflake account on AWS on some other region, then URL will change. Then it will have AWS also, and then other details. Like if you are creating on GCP, then it will have GCP in the URL. But right now my URL is very simple, and it is not having any details related to AWS or anything, because by default I'm using default settings. So right now, if you see, I can create a database. Very simple. You can do it through user interface. You can do it through command line. So command line support is much more vast compared to the user interface, because command line is having everything you can do through command line. In very simple terms, everything you can do is through command line. But in UI, you will find there are less, or you can say it is having limitations. Command line is they having all the support for whatever you want to do in Snowflake. So this is create, clone, drop, transfer ownership. So it is more related to roles. So this is databases. Yeah, so you can create databases and you can do a lot of things. So I will change my role. Okay, just observe this thing. Right now, I am not having anything. So I am not having account here. So I am switching my role to account admin. So when I switch my role to account admin, this is the highest role. So once I am able to switch the role to highest role, then I should see another tab in Snowflake, which should be account tab. So once it is loaded, then I will show you. So can you see now we have additional tab, account tab, which was not appearing when I was with sysadmin. So now I am with account admin, which is the highest role. And in this case, like I see a lot of databases. Earlier, I was not able to see a lot of databases when I was having sysadmin lower role, but now I see a lot of databases, because a couple of databases, like you will see they are like by account admin. Yeah, so they are owned by account admin. So this is databases, and you will see databases are also visible in the worksheets. If I go to worksheets, this is my demo worksheet that I renamed. So on the left side, you can see we have these databases. This database is a special database. Like other databases, can you see icon is different? This particular database icon is different, and other databases icons is different, right? So this database is having Snowflake sample data. So when I will be showing demo, then I will be firing queries on this sample data. So this is a share. This is shared, right? This is shared to me. And if you want to have more databases like shares in which you are not owning the data, someone else is providing the data and I'm able to fire queries, and I will be charged only for the queries that I fire rather than the storage that is there in the database. So it will be charged, like the data provider will be charged for the storage, but I will be charged for the queries that I fire. So I am consumer of this data. I am not provider of this data. So let's say I want to have, let's say I am from healthcare domain. So I can go to preview app. So, or I can go to the data marketplace. So there are like ways to actually get the data. So in case you are interested to get the data for your specific domain and you want to work with COVID data, or you want to work with telecom data, maybe whatever domain you are working. So whichever domain you are working, so you can actually go to the marketplace and there you can get this data. This is the marketplace. I clicked on data marketplace, and if you go to the data marketplace, you can simply sign in, and after that you can get the data. So once I'm in, then I will show you, like there are so many providers which are providing data here. So there are 90 plus providers which are providing data for you. So once I'm in the marketplace, I will be able to get data. So can you see financial data, weather data, commerce data, health and life sciences data. So there are different types of data available. So this is financial data, right? So or the weather data. This is weather data. So this is weather source. I can just select this weather source, and this weather data is available on request, right? So you can raise a request, but there are many cases where you can get the data. There are many cases where you can get the data. Let's say flood risk USA. So let's do one thing. So I should be in the account admin role. So that's why I'm not able to. So I need to switch my role to account admin. So this, because I just re-signed in into this. So that's why it is showing like that. So let's say I go to the weather source. Now I'm able to request the data because I am with the right roles. I am with the account admin role. So I can say, I can specify the email or whatever you want to specify. I can specify my own email address, let's say, and then already, and then I have to accept it. And then once I do that, then I will see there is a share available. So give me a second. I will just quickly do it. Yeah, so that will help a lot. So I will quickly get the data. So this is like my email, send verification email. So it will send it to my email address. And once that is done, then I should be able to see the data in my shares. So I'm still waiting for the email. So once I get the email, I will verify that. So in the meantime, we will get moving. And this is a process. How do we actually get the data from shared marketplace? And after that, you have queries. You can fire these queries on the data very easily, right? So once my email is validated, then I should be able to get it. Okay, so let's go back, and this is like databases, and here we have COVID-19 also. So we can just go to the worksheets, and here we have the Snowflake sample data. Anyhow, we will be working with Snowflake sample data, and we will see how it looks like. So we have databases, and we have some databases which we own. Some databases are owned by someone else, and we can get those databases imported, or you can say it's like a share rather than import. I should say it's a share. And then these are the shares that we have. So this is like instructor one share. So there are multiple different shares. Who is sharing this data? So sample data, yes, Snowflake sample data, we'll see that. And then we have data marketplace that we have just seen. And then we have the data like virtual warehouses. So the virtual warehouses is the second layer that I was talking about in the Snowflake architecture. If I go to the Snowflake architecture, there we were discussing about virtual warehouses. If you go to the architecture of Snowflake, we were talking about this virtual warehouses in the video. So These are this is second layer, virtual warehouses. This compute layer. This compute layer is virtual warehouses where we will have under the hood. Snowflake will be using like EC2 machines under the hood. If it is running on AWS, Snowflake is running on AWS, then it will be running EC2 machines. So this is my virtual warehouse, which is of extra small capacity, and it will have only like right now only one cluster, and we have configured auto suspend to 10 minutes, and then auto resume is also there. That means if there are no queries being fired on this virtual warehouse, then this virtual warehouse will be turned off. That means if you are at the red light, then you can turn off your car so that the like petrol is not wasted. The same concept applies here in Snowflake, that you can this will turn off after 10 minutes, auto suspend. So I am having this virtual warehouse, and this virtual warehouse, if you just say resume, so it will start the virtual warehouse, it will resume the virtual warehouse. And if let's say there are no queries coming, then it will turn off after 10 minutes automatically. And when let's say we fire a query, then it will automatically turn on as soon as we get any query from the client side, let's say, then it will automatically turn on because auto resume is set to yes, right? So this is virtual warehouse in which it's like compute. It is like Amazon EC2 machines running under the hood and retrieving data from the storage layer and processing data from the storage layer. And it is doing all the processing, and it's like it's a horsepower. It's like horsepower of Snowflake, and the brain of Snowflake is cloud services layer, right? So this is virtual warehouses. Any questions on this? Like, what are virtual warehouses? Why do we need it? Okay. I hope this is clear. Like, if you go through these videos, you will get better understanding about the theory behind the virtual warehouse. But I just started a virtual warehouse, and I can also create another virtual warehouse. I can say this is like data scientist team virtual warehouse, DS, data scientist team virtual warehouse, and I can specify how many credits per hour. So this is actually charged per second basis, but minimum 1 minute will be charged. So these many credits will be charged. And then you can specify how many clusters, minimum cluster, because I am having enterprise edition, so I am able to give these options like minimum and maximum cluster. This is for scaling out. If you have more queries coming in, you can say that I want to start with minimum 2 clusters, but I want, like, if more queries are coming getting queued, then it should scale up from 2 to 3 to 2 to 4. So it will scale up automatically. So we can specify this configuration. And we can define, when you drive car, you must have seen that there is an economy mode and there is a sports mode. Can someone tell me when we use sports mode in car and when do we use economy mode in the car? When you drive a car, when do you use sports mode and when do you use economy mode? Anyone? Do you have that in your car? You can type it in the chat. I just want that you should be with me. So that's why I'm asking this simple question. In your car, you must be having various modes of operation, like city mode, city drive mode is activated. Yeah. And then you have economy mode, and then you have sports. So when do you choose these modes? Based on traffic, maybe. Okay, great. So yeah, last weekend I was traveling, so that's why we did not host the meetup on weekend. So it was highway. So when you have to overtake, then I usually do that in a manner like sports mode. I turn on the sports mode and I can overtake. So same thing here, like it will give you like more petrol is consumed, more fuel is consumed, but you get more power, right? So, but if you are having economy mode, then it's like you are concerned about saving the credits or saving the cost. So there are 2 modes here in Snowflake. One is standard mode, another one is economy mode. So standard mode is like you are okay to spend money, but you want queries should be processed as soon as possible. But economy mode, you want to save the credits rather than like spinning up additional clusters unnecessary. Like it's fine. Like it's a trade-off. I should not say unnecessary, but it's a trade-off between the cost that we are incurring and the queries performance. So you can see like if you're okay to wait rather than waste like spending money. So you can choose standard mode and economy mode. And then you can specify auto suspend and auto resume. So these things. And you can see the sequel, how it looks like when you create. So as I said earlier, whatever you can do through UI can be done through SQL, but whatever can be done through SQL or the CLI and the commands may not be possible in UI. So you'll see UI is limited, but commands are very vast and they are like quite extensive. So they cover all the aspects of Snowflake command. Through commands, you can do everything. So coming back here, I hope got it. You can just finish and create, and I will not be doing it right now, but you can do it at your end and you can configure it. This is warehouse. This is like your horsepower, which will be warehouses are responsible for loading data, unloading data. Warehouses are responsible for transforming your data wherever you think processing is required. For example, you're filing select query and there are a lot of joins happening. So warehouses will be responsible for doing all the shuffling and then processing the data, right? So warehouses are responsible. And then this is worksheet. History will show you the list of queries that you executed. So you can choose a particular query and we can go to the query profile. So I'll be showing you that. This is account. And in account, you can see how much storage is being utilized, like how many credits I have used, average storage use. So, and then data transfer. If you have replication set up, you are transferring data from one region to another region, or you have some external stage, then data transfer will be there. Then we have billing, you have users, you have roles, These are like the default roles. You can create your own custom roles in Snowflake, depending on the functional responsibilities that you have given to a particular user. And then you can define policies in Snowflake. You can define sessions. You can have resource monitor. You have sessions, and then we have resource monitor. So in case you want to send alerts, if someone is using, let's say data science team is using virtual warehouse and you want to send alert after certain credits, you can set up those alerts and send emails. Like if you think that usage is too much. Reader account is that functionality which is related to those people. Let's say you want to share data of Snowflake with those people who are not Snowflake customers. So they don't have Snowflake account, but you want to create that account, right? So you want to share your data, Snowflake data, with non-Snowflake customers. So you can do that in Snowflake, and you will be charged for the data storage. You will be charged for the queries that your like consumers are consuming. Like the consumers are consuming data, but you will be charged for the queries that they run, and you will be charged for the storage because they are not Snowflake customers. So Snowflake cannot bill them. So they will, like, Snowflake will be billing you. Yeah. So I hope you are getting at least higher idea about the tabs, and there's a preview application. So this is a new Snowflake UI that will be there. Right now it is in preview mode. So when something is in preview mode, that means we don't have to use it right now. You can use it only when it is generally available. So don't use it. It's just for the preview. Don't use for your production work specifically. So you can enable this worksheet, and this new UI is having a lot of additional things like versioning of worksheets, and so many other additional capabilities are there, like visualizing the data and many other things. You can create dashboards. So many capabilities are there for the new UI. You can simply go inside this and you can fire queries. So let's say I have this, I can fire the query. So this is the data. If you see, this is the data, and every database that you will create, we get a default information schema, which is like a data dictionary. So it will have all the information about that particular database, right? Usage and many other things. If you want to see the size of the table, you can get that in the information schema, and many other things are there. If you go to views, you will see we have so many different types of views, load history and object privileges and so many things like. So this is information schema is like data dictionary for this particular database COVID-19, and I got this COVID-19 from the marketplace, data marketplace that I was showing. And if you run this particular thing, you will see we are able to get the data here. And this is the query detail it will show you. So this is the new user interface, which is having So many things. You can simply collapse the results. You can have query. And if you want to go back, let's say you want to go back to the previous version of this worksheet, you can say 843. Let's say I have another version. Whenever you run any command, you will see another version is there. So I executed. Can you see now I have 3 versions because I am now executing another one. So it will have another one. So can you see now I have 4 versions. So I can go back to previous version anytime, right? And it will revert the, and this is a data set from the marketplace. So I hope you are getting some idea that new UI is much more powerful and it is having a lot of capabilities, but right now it is in preview mode. Yeah, but you can see, but you don't use it right now on your production. Partner Connect, you can connect Snowflake with Talent, Informatica, and so many other partners. So this is Talent. Yeah, so Informatica is also there and many others, right? So you can connect Snowflake with many partners. And then help, in help menu, if you go to the download, you can download the Snowflake user like this is Snowflake SnowSQL CLI client. So I have downloaded that, and you can fire queries from your local system also, like from the terminal. If you want to fire queries, you can do that in Snowflake. If you want, I can do it very quickly. It will take 2 minutes for me to show you how do we fire queries from our local system. So let me show you that demo. That will be, so you can download it from there. So I already have the terminal open. So this is the terminal, and I will clear everything. So in this terminal, I want to start the SnowSQL. So let me show you. I think I am having the, yeah. So I have the, yeah. So what I will do, I will change the username to the current username, and I will also change the account. So I'm using, what is the account that I'm using? I will say done, and I will say, I already downloaded this. So that's why it is there on my local system. I will copy this and I will paste it here. And after that, I will say connect. I will hit enter. And after that, it will ask for the password because I did not give the password here. So it should ask me the password. It shows these messages, but it's fine. We don't have these paths in place right now. So I'm giving the password. Once password is given, then I should be able to see. Yeah. So I'm able to see that I'm having compute warehouse, and I can see show databases. And it should show me, I will make it bigger. And it should show me the databases that I'm having, and I can say use role, account admin, and so many things can be done. So you can say use database. So all these things can be done, but that's not the idea here to show you each and every command. But the idea here is to show you the SnowSQL UI, which will help you work with Snowflake so easily. So this is one way. This is another way to work with Snowflake, which is like worksheet. You can work in browser. You can work in terminal. You can work through maybe DB viewer. So this is DB viewer. So you can say I'm adding another connection. So this Snowflake, can you see it supports so many DB viewer. Like if you want to, if you are comfortable with DB viewer, you can connect with Snowflake. You can say next, and you can specify the host name that I'm having. So what was the host name that I just copied? So I think it is already copied. So I just paste it here. Yeah. Yeah. So I will paste it here, and I will show you how to connect with this. And then I'm not specifying anything. And I will say, this is the username password. So I hope the password will not be shown. Give me a second. I'll just put the password. This password, I will specify it. So once you specify, yeah, this is fine. Like they are not showing it on the screen. So that's fine. They are good. So I will say test connection. So right now it is connecting to Snowflake, getting all the details. Okay, connected, finish. So when I do that, it will show me the databases, like what I am having there. So this Snowflake sample data, and you can see what we have, which all tables are there, right? So we can fire queries here. And this is the main place where you will be firing queries. So these are some additional clients that I was showing, like you can work with Snowflake. So any questions till now before I show you like how do we fire queries and how do we work with caching and what is information schema? I will be showing some details around that. Okay. So if you are comfortable, then let's move on and let's see. So I am here in the worksheet. So very first thing, like I am saying, use Snowflake sample data. So right now, this is Snowflake sample data. I can also say that I want to set a context. Let's say, do you see like there is a context. Once I choose use Snowflake sample data, then it is changed. And you can also specify I want to use a schema. And this is a schema. And now we have the schema also. Earlier it was not there. So you can change the context in which you are operating in a particular worksheet. This is one way to change the context. Another way to change the context is through command line. As I said, whatever we can do through UI can be done through command line. So I did it from command line, but you can do it through UI also. This is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is, let's say instead of 100, I want to go for 1000. So I can say set as context. So if you do that, I can see now 1000 is here rather than 100, right? But I am setting it back. So I can say set as context. So 100 is here back. Yeah, 100 is back. So the context is set up and my role right now is account admin. So ideally it is not recommended to work with account admin. Here I am sysadmin, but in general, like since I wanted to show you the account tab. So here I am sysadmin. So you can always say use role and then you can specify the role. Maybe I'm an intern, let's say intern role. If I create custom role, I can work with that intern role. But I did not create, maybe we can have a separate session on Snowflake security in which I can talk about this. How do we create such roles? But for the time being, let's say we have a query. So in this query, I'm making it unique so that if I have executed this query previously, then it should not cache it. So I'm changing the query text so that it is not like considering that I'm firing the same query. So I'm just telling Snowflake that this is a unique query because I'm changing the query text. If you keep the same text and if I already fired the query, then Snowflake will cache the results for 24 hours in the cloud services layer. So right now, I'm running the query and I can see I am able to get the minimum and maximum date. And this is the query. And I will show you the plan of this query. If you go inside this, go to the plan of the query. And if you go to the query history, you go to the profile. And here, this is showing me metadata based result. Can someone tell me why it is showing metadata based result? Why it is not showing me the lot of details? It is just showing me metadata based result. Any reasons for that? Any ideas? The plan is showing me like that. My query was very simple and I was firing this query. It is showing metadata based result. That means my results are, whenever you are finding minimum value and maximum value of a particular column, then it means that you are interested in the table, like column level statistics like here. So these column level statistics are available in the metadata layer of the cloud services, layer of the Snowflake. So it is already available in the cloud services layer. So it does not require virtual warehouse. If I suspend this virtual warehouse, if I say, let's go, maybe I can do it through command line, but I'm just saying suspend this virtual warehouse. And I'm deliberately suspending, and without virtual warehouse, if I fire this query, and if I just change the text so that there is no effect of caching. So I'm just changing, I'm just giving _1, any name you can give, and I'm firing this query. When I'm firing this query, can you see this virtual warehouse is still suspended state? If you go to virtual warehouse, if it is still in suspended state. And you see, it is still in suspended state. It did not turn on. Your car did not turn on, even though you are firing a query. And reason being, the query is being retrieved. If you go to, this is being retrieved from the cloud services layer rather than retrieving from the virtual warehouse. So if you go to the worksheets again, and if I change this query to something different, let's say I'm not interested in minimum maximum. Let's say I want to retrieve this date, ship date, and I will change this. I am changing the query, and I am now running this query. Now I am executing. Can you see the virtual warehouse turned on when I fire the query? It automatically turned on, right? and it is executing. The query is executing, and it is not like it is able to give me results from the cloud services layer. It has to go to the virtual warehouse, and it has to pull data from S3, right? So right now, this query is taking time because I maybe requested for a particular column. So a lot of data is there. So any questions till now, like how virtual warehouse is getting turned on, and how virtual warehouse is turned off, right? So there are how many rows? There are like 600 million rows, right, in this table. So the data is huge. Yeah. So I go to the plan now, go to the plan, and here it's not like metadata based result. It is having a plan, which is like saying reading data, and then it is showing me the results. And if you make it bigger, then you will see this is actually retrieving data from S3. That's why remote disk IO is 37%. So it is retrieving data from there, 37%. And there are 1198 micro partitions which are being scanned by other statistics and being shown. So it took like 38 seconds to get this. Now I want to run this query again, but I want to do it very fast. That means I will be leveraging the Snowflake caching. So what I will do, I'll go to worksheet. I will say we have this, and I will re-execute. I'm writing it again. I'm writing this query again, and I will re-execute this query. Let's execute this query again. Can you see this time it was 87 millisecond. Earlier it took 38 seconds, but this time 87 millisecond. And it is not metadata based result. It is basically having the actual data from the storage layer, from S3. I'm able to retrieve the data. It took 87 millisecond. And the reason being, like if you go inside this, you will see it is query result reuse. This is like Snowflake result cache being utilized. So that's why the query was very fast. Are you able to get it? Like, what is the difference? Now let's turn off the caching. Actually, there are multiple levels of caching, but we can turn off the result cache. Let's turn off this cache. I'm saying don't use cache. Yeah, so I'm saying don't use cache, and I will use this query again. And let's see how much time it takes, because if you turn off the cache, it is not like 100% cache is off. There are other types of cache also which are still effective unless or until you suspend the warehouse. So I'm now running this again, and let's see how much time it takes. I have turned off the cache. So it is definitely taking more than 30, like I think a few milliseconds it took. So it is taking in seconds. That means cache is turned off. Result cache is turned off. So it is going to S3 retrieve the data and then working on it. So right now it is taking time. Let's see. Earlier it was 38 seconds. So it is taking some time. 35 seconds. You have turned off the cache. Now we got this results in 37.5 seconds, right? So I hope you are getting an idea that how Snowflake is working, the various architecture like layers, how they are organized and how they are working. At least you are getting some sense of it. So this was one thing, but if you are having any questions on this particular demo, do let me know. Otherwise, I will show you the information schema now. So there are no questions coming on the chat. So I think I can move to information schema. So in information schema, this particular thing, like we are having, if you see information schema tables, and you want to see the table sizes that we are having. So we have to use the database also. So we have not specified, let's use a database. So it's fine. I did not, let's say I'm using a database city5, and let's say I'm using this. Okay, so I have specified this and I'm running this now. So when you do that, I think we don't have any data here. That's why it is doing this. We have trips database. So it is saying where's days since greater than 90 days. So let's do one thing. Let's change it to Snowflake. Give me a second. Right, and let's run it again. So this is a Snowflake database. Actually, is part of the Snowflake. When you set up the account, it's already given. So here you will see like it will actually have the, if you use our own database, then it will be much better. Let's go to demo DB because the account is set up. So I'll change the criteria, then it will be better. So I will change the criteria. Let's change the criteria. And then I have the demo DB, and here you will see various tables. This is information schema. We can even specify the public. Yeah, this is my table because this is in public schema. And here I can see how many bytes. There are negligible amount of data, date since last used 5 days. So it will have that information. So you can retrieve the size of table, you can retrieve the login history and so many other details from this data dictionary. You can do a lot of things through these queries, right? So information schema, we can have a lot of things, like we can have views, we can see tables, date diff, and many other things can be seen here. Yeah. So you can play with this. You can see query history, like less than 90 days. What are the query history, account usage, how much? So this is like 9. So queries on object in last 9 days, within 90 days, like how many objects. So you can see store sales. We are looking for query text, which is having store sales. We can get it from the Snowflake. Right. So overall, this is a data dictionary. You must have seen in other technologies also, we have data dictionary. You can retrieve a lot of information about your table structure and many other things. So you can have a look. So if you have any questions for today, please let me know. Otherwise, I was planning to do this much today. I think we covered last one hour. We can have another meetup in which we can talk about specific areas in Snowflake, like caching and time travel and cloning and many other things. But for the time being, I think this should be a good start if you are okay to watch the videos that we are having on our YouTube channel. And along with that, you can go through this. So please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we are done for today. And this is our YouTube channel where you can subscribe. You will see the recording of this YouTube channel will be available. For this session will be available on the YouTube channel. And also we have LinkedIn. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn profile, and this is like the blog that you can follow to get started. Yeah, and this is a place where you will get started. So we have the meetup group. So on the meetup group, if you go to all things data, you will see we have various meetups on data related technology. So it's already around 3,300 members. So please do join this meetup group in case you are coming from some other channel to this meetup. Yeah, I just want to thank you for being here. If you have any questions, you can stay back. Otherwise, we are done for the day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.